Yeah.
Thank you so much for doing this. I know you don't do interviews, but it means a lot for me.
Yeah, no stress, no stress.
I appreciate you as always. My first question to you is what inspired the DJQ stage name and all the good stuff?
Yeah, yeah, man. So my real name for people who don't know is Theniso.
Mhm.
And obviously it starts with the Q. A lot of my friends, a lot of people in school, couldn't really pronounce my name. So a lot of people just called me Q, and that, Q just I just adopted it. And then obviously I'm a DJ, so I've been DJing for a while now. So eventually one of my mates just called me DJ Q, and it just stuck. I went through many different names, or I tried going through many different names growing up, but yeah, DJ Q is the name that stuck. And I mean, if the fans want it, they want it.
Sense. That makes sense, and it fits you. It fits your energy, and it really does. My other question to you is, I also know that you also did radio, so you were
Yeah,
rebel.
no,
So what inspired that journey as well?
so to be honest, I've always loved broadcasting. I've always loved, just talking. I'm someone who enjoys public speaking. I think growing up in high school, uh, during group assignments and there were group speeches, no one would want to speak in front of the class. I mean, you've got a class of like 15 students and people get stage fright. And I was always the go-to guy, even in university. Like you, we don't want to speak in front of this lecture hall of like 30 students. Can you please like speak on our behalf? So yeah, I've just always been that guy who would always speak. And when I joined Tux in 2018, because I went to the University of Victoria, when I joined in 2018, I knew that I wanted to go into Tux FM. And yeah, I just loved it ever since. I learned a lot from, the production manager at the time, Mike Bauer. I learned a lot from him, and yeah, he really guided us and really saw something in me that I think even till this day he still sees, which I don't see. But yeah, no, I've just enjoyed broadcasting, and I've gone ahead and done cool things.
My other question to you, do you think radio is still relevant in this day and age? Because I think radio, for me, I think radio is still relevant, but everyone's on TikTok and Instagram and everything. So, what is your take on that?
So for me, that's an age-old question that was asked from when I started broadcasting as well at Tux FM, and it's going to be a question that is still going to be asked for many years. And just to cut straight to the chase, I think radio is still relevant. Radio is still important because, when I first started radio, Mike Bauer, he said radio is like theater of the mind, in the
Mhm,
sense that, when I tell you a story, I'm in the same room as you.
mhm.
If I tell you a story, you weren't there to hear that story, or to sort of see that story. You weren't there. So when I tell you a story, you're gonna try and imagine it
Mm.
in your mind of, okay, how did you get this done, or et cetera, et cetera. Hopefully I'm making sense there.
Yeah.
But it's like theater of the mind, and podcasting is cool, and podcasting is great, and I think, in my opinion, can be a sort of a cousin to radio, but I don't think it will absolutely make radio irrelevant. At the end of the day, when I'm speaking on radio and I'm telling you a story, that's live. A podcast can sometimes be pre-recorded.
100%, 100% agree on that. No, no, no
Yeah.
objection. Uh,
Uh,
other at all. My other question to you is: I also know that you also tapped into um, events and everything. So please tell me please let me know why did you want to tap into that, and why did you want to create your own event? Ian?
so, so I've always enjoyed throwing parties. I think so I started DJing at the age of 13.
Right.
A friend of mine just showed me virtual DJ, and I was like, wow, what is this? And it literally went from virtual DJ to having my own controller to then, going to DJ at different venues, etc., etc. And my journey in terms of events was I just wanted to just have a good time. In high school, a few friends of mine would contact me or message me saying, "Hey Q, my parents are out of town
Mm-hmm.
for the weekend. I want to do something." And literally, me and two friends of mine, it was Joe and Tino, we literally were like, okay, cool. I'm gonna outsource the sound. And then, like, for example, my friend Joe would be sort of the guy to invite people, and then Tino would be the guy to make sure that, like, to make sure that the aesthetic was there. You know what I mean? And then that sort of happened. And then, during university, I DJ'd and was involved with an event called Slushy, and that's where my love for event organization got bigger and bigger. Then one day, my closest friend Ryan North was like, "Hey, listen." At the time, it was Q, it was Ryan, and it was Cyan, and I was DJing, getting gigs. Ryan was DJing, getting gigs. Cyan was DJing, getting gigs. And Ryan was like, "Listen, we all DJ. Why don't we just throw massive events and book ourselves as headliners and make a lineup from there?" And literally that's where QRS came from, because it's Q, it's Ryan, it's Cyan, and also it just makes sense alphabetically. If you go through the alphabet, QRS, like it falls, one after the other. You know what I mean? So literally, that's where my love for event throwing really came from. It's just the right place, right time, and I had people around me like Ryan, like my friends in high school. I had people around me that also shared the same passion. So generally, when you're passionate about something and there's people around you with the same passion, it just works together and it works well. You know what I mean? And it works flawlessly. So shout out to Ryan and Sign.
Lovely people. I think you guys are doing incredible things. Um, let's tap into that as well, because I think people underestimate the importance of making sure the lineup is proper, like is top tier. They look at Everybody looks at um, in my perspective, everybody looks at who's on who the design, and they look at how it looks, but they look at how much work it takes to make what you want to make, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what process do you guys go take when it comes to booking people that you want for the night garden or whatever venue, whatever event you want to do, if that makes sense?
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. So ultimately, number one is you got to see what's the aim or what's the goal of this event. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? What's the theme of it? Are you aiming for a younger crowd? Are you aiming for an older crowd? Are you
Yeah.
going more for a commercial crowd, or are you going more for a sort of a niche
Hmm.
crowd? It starts off there with understanding what the end goal is.
Yeah.
For example, with the night garden, if I use night garden as an example,
Yeah.
it is more of a commercial crowd, bringing different people together, because at the night garden we've got hip hop, which is an element of me. I enjoy hip hop. We've got house music, where Ryan and Ryan really excel in house music, from tech house to techno to melodic techno, etc., etc. We all bring what we have. So the night garden is a sort of a conglomeration, if that's even a word, a conglomerate of of all three of us and our passions. Whereas, for example, you get Ryan, who would throw Aztec. He knows Aztec is more for the techno crowd, more for the melodic techno crowd. Then you've got another property that we started last year, which is Africa Untamed. We know that Africa Untamed is more for the Afro crowd, but we're not saying the commercial Afro that everyone is playing. For example, we've had Gums and we've had Candyman on Africa Untamed, because I mean anyone can book the biggest headliners, but at the end of the day, Africa Untamed is there to educate people on music. And I feel like more than anything, when we book artists for our events, those artists are there to educate people on their music taste. And I always believe that as a DJ, as much as we want the limelight, whatever, it's all about the music and then at the end of the day. And it's your duty as a DJ to educate the people on the dance floor on what they like or what they don't like. You know what I mean? You can prepare a banging set and people might not like it. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But as a DJ, you know, my favorite sets or my favorite artists are artists who play original music or unreleased music or, you know, songs that you have found on the depths of Spotify. I mean, not Spotify, on the depths of SoundCloud. You know what I mean? Anyone can play the top 10 Afro house tracks or top 10 hip hop tracks, you know, educate the crowd. And I think if we can get artists on the lineup that actually are there to educate the crowd, I mean, that's a recipe for success.
I, I think we should tap into that because I understand what you mean. Because I feel like there are a lot of people that throw events and they don't educate themselves as to say, okay, there's already this. Can we add more to whatever is already there, but make sure that it's unique to us and unique to what we're trying to do, and I think there needs to be more of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So my other question to you is, how did the Red Bull situation come about? Because I didn't know. Because I'm like, wow, that um, for real. I'm really proud of you for that, for sure. Everything you do is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, thank you so much. So to be honest, me working for Red Bull honestly came through being in the event industry. As I mentioned, you know, from DJing in university to being in Tax FM, you know, to being involved in Slushy, you know, I was always involved in the events space. And then also obviously with QRS, you know, I was always involved in the event space. And at the time, the national events manager for Red Bull was looking for someone to fill a position. He was pretty much building a team. And to be honest, I didn't, and I always try to say this very humbly because honestly, it came by chance. I didn't even apply for the position because I didn't even know that that position was open.
Mm-hmm.
The national events manager for Red Bull was looking for someone to fill that position, and because of my work in the industry, especially in Slushy, I got recommended to him as someone who would be a good fit for the position, who would be a good fit for the company. And at that time, the position was still sort of finding its feet. And yeah, long story short, I had an interview and I got the job. And from then on, literally doing Red Bull events, doing a lot of third-party events. Yeah, I honestly have to just thank being in the right place at the right time, and most importantly, just thank God for that.
Yeah, I think it was God saying, you, my boy, this is you, this is your time.
Yeah, yeah. 100%.
Yeah, 100%. And you're doing incredible. It makes me so inspired to to do what I do in my way, and you continue to inspire me and continue to have energy that I didn't know that was possible. But thank you
Yeah.
for that. Um, my other question to you is, in your perspective, what is missing in the music scene? We touched on that a little bit, but we need to tap into it more. I think because I think there's a lot of things there are a lot of things that people have already done that I think it's really good, but I think there's still a lot of work we can do, if that makes sense.
Yeah. To be honest, the most honest answer that I think is missing
Yes.
in the industry,
Yeah.
I can answer that in two parts. The first part, I think what's missing is I think we've forgotten why we're there in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of us, and I say us because I'm in the industry, I can't separate myself. I am in the industry, so I have to say us and not other people.
Yes.
But a lot of us come into the industry because we're coming in for ourselves. I want to be the headliner. I want to be the guy playing the top shows, and we forget that actually, you know, as much as you're there to be the headliner or whatever, at the end of the day, you're there for the music, and I feel like a lot of people have forgotten about that. As I mentioned earlier on, you know, it's very easy to go to Spotify and download the top 10 or top 20 Afro house tracks, for example, or top 20 techno tracks, for example, and then just play that. Yeah, I mean, you're playing bangers, that's great, and people can say, okay, this person's a good DJ, that's great, but you're not giving me anything that Spotify isn't already giving me or Apple Music isn't already giving me. You know what I mean? And I feel like we've become lazy to actually dig deep and dive. I'm not saying pre-plan your sets or whatever. No. I mean, if you pre-plan your set, that's great. That's cool. That's on you. I'm talking about actually sitting down and just browsing whatever platform and listening to the different or the genres and subgenres of
Mhm.
house music. House music is not just Afro house, or it's not just deep house. There are many different subgenres of that, and I feel like a lot of DJs aren't sitting down and listening to that. A lot of DJs are just playing what the headliner played. Okay, cool. The headliner played one, two, three. Cool. I'm also going to play one, two, three. I'll just play it in a different order. That's not being original. And I think the second part is a lack of collaboration, man. I think, in the industry, we can sometimes be in it for ourselves.
Mhm.
And to be honest, there's this saying, if you want to go fast, walk alone. But if you want to go far,
Go
walk
together.
together, go together. And I feel like that's what the industry is missing is that everyone is in it for themselves. And I think, not, no, let me not say everyone. I think maybe I'm generalizing a bit too much there. But I truly think that we could take things a lot further, or the industry could be a lot further if we work
Mhm.
together.
And
If you look at the industry overseas, like in Amsterdam, and like, those DJs there, as much as it's their own scene, but they seem to help each other a lot more.
mhm.
Whereas here, it's about, who's the most popular. And if you're not on my level, I'm sorry. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I know I keep tapping into this, but I think it really is important for people to understand this. Um, for real, I think what you said, I think people think DJing is a hobby, or people think DJ is just you press buttons and then everything works. No, it is an art. It is everything that you do. Making sure that people dance and you have a time of your life while playing, but also educating people and making sure that what is it song that people played, making
Mm,
people have curiosity as to, I want to book this person because even though they played the top 10, they still put something unique in
mm,
set,
mm,
so that people be like, oh, she's more than just house, she's more than just techno, she's more than just,
mm,
she has variety. And people, and um the thing is people are not going to, promoters are not proper promoters are not going to promote, book you based, for me, in my perspective, what a promoter should do. A promoter should be able to be like, oh, this person, I'm going to book this person because of A and B and C, because they bring me a feeling that, oh, it's something unique, like Ryan and you guys. Like, I keep saying this, but you guys are really doing incredible. But I,
thank you.
I'm doing you as an example because it's kind of easy. So, so yeah, like I said, it's all about, always about understanding what you're trying to do and the things you're trying to portray. And it's like, I love this industry, but there are certain things it should be normalized to be like, it should be normalized in the sense of like, we should be able to be like unique as much as possible, because I feel like, being unique and being weird and being whoever you want to be will always stand out,
Yeah,
if that.
yeah. I like what you said about being unique. And with the industry, I think a lot of artists can really benefit with being unique. And like I said, it's very easy to copy what the previous DJ has played. And I think being unique is very important because your set, if you really honestly sat down and dived deeper into the music, like I said, not just the top 20 tracks, but really dive deeper into the music,
Mm,
that set becomes unique in its own. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And I'm not even talking about, having the DJ skills that Shimza has or the DJ skills that, Black Coffee has. Just talking from mixing one song to another.
Yeah.
You can have a beautiful set from mixing one song to another if your song selection is on point, if your music knowledge is on point. You know what I mean? Then once you've mastered that, then we can start talking about having your DJ skills and like, being as technical as Shinzo would be, or being as technical as I don't know Chris Beats would be, just to name a few DJs as an example.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%. The technical part comes later.
Yes,
You know, the
yeah,
the most important thing for me, I've been in the game for quite a while now, so I kind of know what works and what doesn't work. You know, song selection, as you said, is primary, but also and a feeling. Every time you play a song, you have to have a feeling when you play it, whether it's
exactly.
a piano, whether it's whatever. You have to have a feeling. You can't just you can't just play because people the promoter says you must play it. No, you they book you for a certain reason. They booked you for a certain reason. So do what you're supposed to do. Don't be nervous. Just do what just do what you need to
Yeah,
do.
yeah. No, yeah, no, I agree with that as well. Like music is very
Yeah,
emotional. There've been some sets like deep house sets. I'm not even talking about Afro house sets. I'm talking about deep house sets. There've been some deep house sets where I've just been like, damn, like you start contemplating life because like the DJ is doing the bits. You're like,
yes,
yo, like where do you find this heater? You know what I mean? And for example, if you look at deep house, it's more of the selector. You be at deep house DJ is a selector. They know what they're doing. There's no such thing as a top 20 deep house track. So maybe there is somewhere in some catalog.
yeah,
You know what I mean? But like a deep house DJ, like it's called deep house for a reason. They make you feel something.
yes,
You know,
right,
and that's just one
yeah.
genre.
Right, like I want to close that part, but I'm going to mention a person. Let's Dawson.
hmm
Dawson is a great example of
hmm
variety and being able to tell a story,
mm
and that's what we're missing. Like, if that,
mm
or am I?
Yeah. No,
Because
no,
I found out
you,
because
no,
some
you make
some people I'm talking too much. I'm like, okay,
Yeah. No, no, you're not talking too much at all. But yeah, no, like if we like use Dawson as an example, I've heard Dawson play a deep house set. I've also heard Dawson play an Afro house set, believe it or not. We're not talking about like the Afro techs and stuff, but more of like the Afro house stuff. Well, from the sets that I've listened to. Now, if we use the term called sort of diverse or like yeah, diverse. Now, I truly believe as a DJ. Obviously, unless you're a DJ that you've established yourself like, this is my genre. If you book me, this is the genre you're getting. But
yeah,
if you haven't reached that point, there's many different ways to tell a story, and there's many different stories
yeah,
to tell. You know what I mean? If like, and we'll use Dawson as an example. Like when he plays a deep house set, he can tell a specific story because he knows he's playing for a deep house crowd. You know what I mean? Or if he's playing at an Afro house event, he's playing at an Afro house sort of story that tells maybe the same message or a different message,
yeah.
but that pleases that crowd. And I truly believe the greatest DJs out there, and some people might say maybe I'm wrong, but I truly believe that the greatest DJs out there are the diverse DJs. The DJs who know, okay, cool, this is an old school crowd. I'm gonna play old school hip hop and R&B, or I'm gonna play old school like house music, or I'm gonna play deep house. Like those DJs for me, I see them to be very talented because they can hold any crowd. They can hold in they can be a crowd in front of them, they can hold it down. You
Mhm.
know, if you look at, like, for example, like Brandless Being, who can play hip hop, and if he plays hip hop, he'll rock the crowd.
Mhm.
You know, but if he plays house music, he'll also rock the crowd.
Mhm.
Those are the type of DJs who are, in my opinion, the really
Yeah.
talented ones. Um, so
And
yeah.
100%. We're gonna yeah. Okay. So that conversation was brilliant, as always. My other question to you is, what is your take on people getting paid properly, and what do you think the be like should be? Because people say, I don't get paid, I don't get paid. Like, I don't, I'm like, but people book you. You as an artist have to understand um your your special vibe. You have a
Yeah,
special vibe for a reason.
yeah,
So your rating has to be um has to be what's the word? Has to be unique,
yeah.
but also reasonable. If that makes
Yes, yes, yes.
how how do we how do we um break that barrier, if that makes
So now this also can be like a two-fold conversation, but it's what as a DJ when it comes to payment, it's what you're worth
sense?
versus what you think you're worth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where some people get it twisted.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what you're currently worth versus what you think you're currently worth.
Okay.
And a lot of, I'm going to use this as an example. When you start your first
Mm-hmm.
job, obviously your aim is to be the CEO of the
Yes,
company one day.
100%.
But when you start your first job, you're not going to say, I expect the salary of the CEO. You haven't gotten there yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You haven't gotten to the point of getting paid salaries. I mean, a CEO salary. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
you might think you're worth that, but in reality, you're not worth that. And for me, how my journey was, not saying that it's the right journey, not saying that this is what you should go through or this is what every DJ should go through, but I started DJing. When I started DJing for free. You know, I DJed for like my church group, you know, at church. You know, I DJed at like a few parties. You know, I DJed at jollies. You know, you start off DJing for free, then it's like, okay, cool. When people are like, damn, this DJ is actually really good. I'm willing to pay this DJ. It's like, okay, yeah, I'll give you like, I don't know, $200 or $500. Then it grows, it grows. That DJ who started playing for free is now earning 5,000 Rand an hour, 10,000 Rand an hour. He didn't just to wake up one day saying, I want to be a DJ that gets 10,000 Rand an hour and then boom, gets paid 10,000 Rand an hour. You know, he worked his way up. And I feel like that's what DJs need to understand is that, yes, you might think you're worth this amount. And not saying that you're not worth it. Trust me, you are worth it, but you're not worth it now. So if someone approaches you for a gig, I'm not even talking about a free gig, whatever, and they say, listen, I've got 1,000 Rand for this hour to pay you.
Mm-hmm.
And you can be like, oh man, I deserve 3,000, 5,000 Rand an hour. But I mean, where's your backing to prove that? You know what I mean? Like in your CV, you get work experience and you put your work experience, and that work experience pretty much justifies your salary.
100%.
You know, if you've only got one gig as work experience and you rock up there expecting 3,000 Rand,
No.
a promoter is going to be like, sorry, bro, like, I can't help you. You know what I mean? I'm not even going to bother booking you. You know, but if you're someone who's got a good proven track record and you say my salary, my rate is 3K an hour, you know, the promoter is going to be like, okay, cool, I'm going to pay you 3,000 Rand an hour because you've got a proven track record behind you.
100%. And to add to that, also up and coming artists should also do more guest mixes. So because I was like, I'm gonna tell you because I think you should, like, so you can understand. So basically, so I did a YFM thing, a YFM guest mix for Feifei, and then I did a 5FM thing for Kyle Watson, Kyle Casson, and then it built up, so like it it went places because I put myself out there.
Yeah,
It's also always about putting yourself out there and understanding. Okay, I'm still a rising artist. That's okay, but I know my worth and I know what we are trying to achieve here, and whatever they're willing to pay, even even if it's 500 rand, it's at least it's something, so that we can clearly see that we're working on something, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, I get you. No, I mean, as a DJ, putting your that's one thing. First of all, I would say is my flaw. You know, I think
Right?
putting yourself out there as a DJ, I could say works one of two ways.
Uh-huh.
You're either gonna put yourself out there through, like you said, like your mixes, and you're showing people what a talented DJ you are based on the mix.
Mhm.
Or it could work another way. You could put yourself out there and boost your social media posts to show people that, okay, this person looks like a good
Mhm.
DJ. I've seen many ads of DJs who, man, this DJ looks like a good DJ, and then you actually hear them DJ. It's like, oh, it's actually not that great of a DJ, but man, that videographer did a good job to make this DJ look like a great DJ.
It
You know
makes
what I mean?
they
And then
both work hand in hand, if that makes
yeah, so yeah, for me, DJing for different crowds of people that allowed me to put myself or to put myself out
sense.
there more. But where I lack is sort of like the digital sort of aspect of, maybe doing more videos of myself DJing. That's where I lack. At the end of the day, as a DJ, your job is to put yourself out there. How you put yourself out there is up to you.
Mhm.
But as long as the center of everything is the industry and the center of everything is the music, I mean, you'll get to where you want.
100%. And I think my flow is like, I you put your flow out, I have to put my flow on. So because it goes hand in hand. Um, my flow in DJing, I think, is like I know I'm good, but like I have those doubts moments when I'm like, okay, I'm good, but like I have those doubts moments where I'm like, ooh, is this really what I feel like? Is this am I good enough for the If,
Yeah,
but it has times, but we working on it and we growing on it. we
yeah,
there. And I think that's the whole point in life. You have to get where you want to be. But
yeah. I like what you said there about like you're growing. I believe it or not, I myself still learn new DJ techniques. Even now, I mean, like I said, I started DJing at the age of 13.
yeah.
I've started DJing at the age of 13. I'm turning 28 this year, and they still okay.
You, I'm almost turning 25. I'm
Oh,
turning
jeez.
25.
But yeah, I'm still learning things today. And my girlfriend, she works in education. And one of the things that they say when you become a teacher, or when you are in the process of studying to become a teacher, is that when you study to get to your degree, it doesn't just end there. That degree, for example, helps you get your foot in the door. But with education, they always say you need to be a lifelong learner. As a teacher, you need to be a lifelong learner. And I take that sort of way of thinking and I apply it to myself in what I do in the industries. That I'm not an expert as much as people think I am an expert. Yes, I've gained the skills for people to think that I'm an expert, but I'm nowhere near where I want to be. I haven't learned as much as I want to learn. Because if I walk around now saying, okay, I've done this event, I've done that event, I've played those shows, I've played that show, I've been on 5FM, I've been on this, and I walk around like I'm an expert, I mean, eventually I'm going to stop learning because I'm going to think I am the shit. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
if you walk around, always trying to learn, there's always something you can learn. I sometimes sit down and watch a Shimza mix. And I'm like, whoa, I didn't know you could do that on the CDJs. And then what do? I try and practice it on the CDJs. Yes, I will fail a couple of times, but I'm definitely, eventually I'll get it right. And eventually I'm going to be a better DJ for that. If I walk around saying, no, I don't need to learn anything more about DJ, and then I'm not going to grow as a DJ.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're gonna have that ego.
Yeah.
You're gonna be
Yeah.
which I don't like. Like
Yeah.
I like that are like energetic, but also have that friendly energy, but still stand on business. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get you. I get you.
My second my second to last question, because I know, yeah, we have to wrap it. Um, what legacy would you like to leave in the music scene?
Ooh, that's a really, really cool question. That's a deep question. I mean, to be honest, the legacy I want to leave behind in the industry, I just want to leave behind a legacy of
Mm-hmm.
kindness and a legacy of, guys, there's more than enough food on the table for
Mm-hmm.
everyone. The pie is big. The pie is big enough for everyone. And so a lot of us want to take the pie off ourselves, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like you can never take the pie off of yourself because the pie is that big.
Mm-hmm.
Instead you can get more pieces of the pie, but you can only get more pieces of the pie if everybody has an equal sort of share in the pie, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I mentioned earlier on that I feel like the industry is lacking collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the more collaborations we do, the more pieces of the pie we can all have because this pie is like infinite.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
like you mentioned collaboration. I would my dream collab. No, let's have it like three. I said one, but let's do two more.
Yeah.
Um, your dream collaboration. Whether it's for Red Bull, whether it's for health, whether it's for a future event. What who who would you like to collaborate with?
So for me, like I said, my love is for the whole industry as a whole.
Hmm?
So I mean, I wouldn't. So I don't. I DJ a lot. I wouldn't say I'm a producer. I wouldn't call myself a producer of like music. I don't produce music, but I produce events,
Mhm.
or I'm involved in events enough to produce events. So for me, my collaboration would not be
Yeah.
artist based, but it would be event organizer based. Taking like the creators of Lensdag and the creators of Slushy
Mhm.
and having, yes, those events still happening, but
Mhm.
having a new event, or maybe, a Slushy stage at Lensdag or a Lensdag stage at Slushy. Those types of collaborations. You know what I mean? Those are the type of collaborations that I'm interested in. And also the artist collaborations, not from, like I said, the music production point of view, but if you look at an event like Kunye,
Mhm.
Kunye is an event by Shimza and his team.
Mhm.
You know what
First,
I mean? And that is a good example of an event organizer, the team behind. Uh,
yeah. Yeah.
you've got the event organizers and the artist coming together to create this event called Kunye. Those are the type of collaborations that also make sense in the industry. So artists collaborating with event organizers collaborating with other event organizers. For me, those are the type of collaborations that make sense, and those are the type of collaborations that assist with growing the industry.
Okay. For me, it like because like the collaboration I think would fit my brand, right? It would fit me completely. Um, it would QRS, yeah, QRS. It would, yeah, because I'm like, you guys are crazy dope, and you guys will fit my energy so well one day. um, the other one would be Sonto. Sonto by Hype, because I feel like it will fit my energy. I've
Yeah,
always wanted, I think he's incredible, and he's done a lot for the culture, and you
yeah,
incredible. If that makes sense.
yeah. No,
Why
it does make sense.
why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
No, no, I completely agree with you. Agree with what you're saying.
Because I thought I said something
No,
also. So,
no, not at all, not at all. I just enjoy laughing.
okay, okay. I'm learning something about you that I didn't
Yeah,
know.
I
Cool.
love, I love a good laugh.
Great. My second to last question is what have you learned about yourself over the years, whether it's whether it's events or it's events or DJing that you didn't know about yourself?
Uh, what I learned about myself, really, I would say I just Sorry, I just got something in my eye. What I learned about myself in the industry is that I've got experience to put on the table,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and a lot of the time, I'm the type of person I just listen and I nod, and I just listen to the room before I have anything to say.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that's just always been my nature. Before I speak, I sort of assess the room, I assess the people around me. And what I've learned about myself is that I've also got stuff to bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that I'm an expert or whatever, but what I bring to the table makes sense. What I bring to the table comes with my experience in the industry. And, you know, I've learned that, you know, I can be a lot more, call it for a lack of a better term, a lot more ferocious in the industry because, you know, when I first started off, I would pretty much be a pushover because I always thought of myself as this small guy who, you know, should just listen. And as I've been involved in events and with Red Bull and, you know, QRS and just DJing as Q, you know, I had a discussion with my brother last year and with my younger brother, and I was like, and we both came to the conclusion that, you know, we've got a lot to bring to the table, and sometimes if you don't bring your bit to the table, that entire project can fail because you decided to keep quiet. You know, bring what you have to the table. And for me, what I've learned about myself is that I've got a lot to bring to the table, and I should back myself as much as other people back
Oh, that's exactly what I'm learning about myself as well. Because I'm like, I always doubt myself, and I'm like, you got this though.
me.
you
Yeah,
you got the source. You just need to put it into action. And I'm just
yeah,
like, no, we come we come into this industry thinking, oh, we're not good enough because there's so many people
yeah,
doing it already.
yeah,
We don't
yeah,
have we don't have the special vibes that we need to uh believe in ourselves enough. And
yeah,
I think art artists and ourselves need to believe in ourselves more, if
yeah,
that makes sense.
yeah. I get you.
My last question to you is, what is what like what is your process like when it comes to um what is your process like when it comes to preparing for sets and stuff like that and preparing
Yeah,
big big moments?
yeah. I actually love that question so much. I love that question. I actually look forward to getting asked those types of questions, especially that question, because when I started DJing, really, I would get very nervous, and obviously, there's nothing wrong with being nervous. I think when you're nervous as a DJ, that allows creativity to flow even
Yeah.
more. And when I started off, I used to be so nervous that I'd prepare my sets. Like I'd say, okay, I'm playing this for track one, track two, track three, track four, and I'd prepare like a set list. And I realized that the more I did that,
Mm.
the more I became dependent on that set list when I was DJing. And you can find that that set list that you prepare, if you've prepared that set list and you want to stick to the T, I mean, go ahead. But what if the crowd that's there that day doesn't resonate with that set
Yeah.
list? What then? You know what I mean? I mean, I'm a good DJ. I'm a talented DJ. I've got a good ear for music, whatever. But why is the crowd not jumping? And nothing wrong with you as a DJ. Maybe that set that you prepared wasn't the right set for the crowd. So for me personally, how I've approached DJing, I honestly and truly, I let the crowd do the DJing. I don't prepare the set. I'm just a vessel
Mhm.
that plays what the crowd wants to hear. You know what I mean? I don't prepare a specific set because if I prepare that specific set and someone or the crowd is not resonating with it, then I find myself panicking. I panic. I'm like, geez, clearly I'm doing something wrong, or maybe I'm not a good DJ. But if I let the crowd DJ, obviously I know like okay, the first three tracks I'm gonna play. These are the first three tracks I'm gonna play. You know what I mean? But from those first three tracks or first five tracks, from there you let the crowd take over because the crowd from the previous track that you play, their reaction to that will give you an understanding of okay, cool, this is the next track to play. So I've got a catalog, and obviously I've cataloged my music into genres and subgenres and BPM or whatever. So I know what music I have, but I don't go there saying okay, cool, this is the Rage set. I'm gonna play this song for this set for Rage because if that crowd doesn't resonate with it, then I'm screwed. But if I come there and I feed off the energy, and I'll use Regs as an example, I fed off the energy of the crowd because they were just there to party, and I let them pretty much do the DJing. I let them dictate where they wanted the event to go, and I just pressed play.
I also think to tap that as well, I think don't over prep. Like do like don't
Yeah,
but prep but prep, don't over prep. It depends if you haven't played there before, then just prep
yeah,
enough energies. My rule is visit the place first so you can see
mm,
it. If you can't, then then you just over prep, but
yeah.
don't do.
And also with prepping your set, and I just want to emphasize this, there's nothing wrong with prepping your set. There's nothing wrong with prepping your set. But with that, the more you play and you play, you know what sort of set works. Okay, if I play these tracks, that's guaranteed to work, and I'm gonna feed off of that. And I don't know what I'm gonna play next, but I'm gonna feed off of the first half of the set that I played last week. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? The more you DJ, the more the puzzle pieces start falling into place. And like you'll reach a point where I'm at now, where I don't necessarily prep my set. I'll prep the first three songs, but after that, I let the crowd do the rest.
100%. I think that's the vibration that you have to go on, I think. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. This has been incredible to start my year. Like that's my year back out of in the country. Yeah,
Yeah. It's
yeah.
January.
Great. But anyway, thank you so much for pulling through as always. You're such a gem as